Greetings from Puerto Armuelles, Panama. My name's Janine, and today I'm going to be trying to do a how-to video of assembling this awesome extra large double flight cage, bird cage that's designed for small to medium birds. We raise lovebirds. Started as just kind of a hobby when we retired in Panama, and it has become quite a passion. We raise them, we made them, and we kind of do lovebird rescues, Africana communes. So I wanted a flight cage where they could have more room for horizontal flight, because some of the ones that we've set free were lost to predators. So our idea of rescuing lovebirds and setting them free didn't make a lot of sense. So we're just going to get bigger aviaries, and this is our intermediate step until we can put a full-size walk-in aviary. It's a double flight cage. It's made by McCage, and I am going to be doing a how-to. The first thing that I did is I went through their very minimalist instructions and read through it as many times as I could until I could kind of understand the basics of how to assemble it. It does not give much information, especially not when it comes to the hardware, the bolts and things like that. So I did some reading of reviews. Most people said, if you use common sense, you can do this. So I started by first accounting for all the hardware, and I split them up into cupcake muffin pans so I could separate out the hardware. That started helping me make sense of which hardware would likely be used where. The other thing I did is I separated out all the parts out of the box. And here's the way I started. It's a double cage, so for each side, there's a front panel, a back panel, a side panel, and a top. So I had my left cage here, and I had my right cage there, but I've just started getting ready to put the right cage together. And I decided, there's no video on this particular one out there, and it would have helped me a lot, so I'm going to make one. Grow strong with learning how to put together bird cages. So I've got my right cage under construction, my left cage ready to go. These parts here make the cart that goes in the middle and the shelves for the bottom of the cart. I have the wheels for the cart here in the kitchen. I also have the slide-out trays and plastic containment for your, whatever you use. I use aspen chips and other things in the bottom to capture their waste. So there's one for each side. And then this is a sliding divider that can separate the double cage into two cages, or it can be left open as a 62-inch wide flight cage. These rails down here make up the bottom for these trays to sit on, and then these rails are part of the cart, assembling the cart together. So I went through, I determined I've got everything, and this is the lid, the top to the right side cage, and I've just started putting it together. So I'm starting by assembling the right cage, and I'm just following the directions. I'm attaching the sides, and then the back, and then I'll put the top on, and I'll do that for both sides. And then I have to get into this part down here where you add a couple of other parts for the section where they go together in the middle. I have just about completed putting the right-hand side cage together. I've got the front, the side, the back, and the top. And I wanted to mention that for this section where you're installing the sides, the back, and the top of the cages, you want the smallest bolts, the ones that are 20 millimeters long. They mentioned an M5 times 20, that means 20 millimeters. You've got 20 millimeter, 30 millimeter, 40 millimeter, and 60 millimeter bolts. These use the 20 millimeter, and they are screwed in using the provided Allen wrench. So I'm just going to put the last one in here. Here, you're seeing an example of something I was prepared for from having read reviews by other people. One of the holes has not been adequately drilled, so I can't fit the bolt in. Here's what the hole should look like. And here's here's what I've got. Only half a hole. Luckily, I'm prepared with my Makita cordless drill, and it has a metal drill bit in it. So just be prepared. Having a drill with metal drill bits available will be helpful if you have any holes that are defective or in the wrong place. All better. All right, that solves that problem. So be prepared. Have tools on hand. So I have completed putting together both the left side house and the right side house. The two cages have their front panels, which are the ones that have the opening doors. Okay, these are the front panels. And they have the little sliders for feeding cups. And then the side panels are narrower, and they have a door for you to attach a nesting box. And then the back panel is like the front panel, only without the little doors and the big door. So those are all put together, and my next step is the very end of part 2, which is getting ready for the brackets that go down in the bottom in order to hold the tray for their mulch or whatever kind of material put down in the bottom of your birds' cages. I use aspen chips for our lovebirds. So these two will support those trays in here. And I just put down all the bubble wrap from the box to protect our floor and the cage. And then these will go in there. I'm not sure yet about the bolts. By the way, a warning on these bolts, do not over tighten them. These heads strip very easily. And so don't over crank them with the little Allen wrench, or you will strip them. These go in the middle. That's my next task, is to get the divider tracks on the bottom of the right cage, the inside of the left cage, and then put the support brackets on the bottom that hold the mulch trays for their waste. All right, I'm getting excited. I have both the left cage and the right cage of this double birdhouse flight cage put together. The last step that I did was I put these support pieces in the bottom, which support the plastic tray that hold all of your mulch for your animals, your birds' waste. And so there's one of those on each side. And then these two end pieces were a little confusing to me because there's not much to indicate what way they go in. And initially I was thinking, I'll show you, they have this rail here. And I thought, oh, those should go towards the middle. That'll be the track that the divider slides on. But then when I looked inside the other end, which is fixed, it also has a rail on it. So these should go inwards towards the inside of the cage, and I had already put it on the other way. Another confusing thing about this is there seems to only be one bolt on each end available for it. There is another hole inside, but it only goes through one side of this. It's not drilled on the second side. Here, it's not drilled, and it's not drilled on the frame of the cage. So I'm just going to leave that be. I think once it's all together on the stand, those are going to be just fine. Here's what I've realized is the mechanism. This is going to be together with a 5/8 inch space in between. So just pretend I don't have all this bubble wrap. The question is, how is this door going to slide in and out there? And I came to realize that the answer to that is the middle piece of the stand is what it will slide on. The next step is to put the stand together. So I am up to step 3, and I've got my pieces laid out. I have the two rounded ends and the square middle. And once the cages are set on the left and the right side of those, that flat part in the middle is what the divider panel of the cage will slide on. All right, I have completed putting step 3 together, which is to put together all the pieces of the double stand base for the double cages. And the rounded brackets are the two end pieces. And then the center piece is the one that's squared off. This is what will become the frame for the divider bars panel to go in between the two cages. So one cage goes on the right, one cage goes on the left. They both have open sides, but the divider panel slides right in here. A couple of things to be aware of. These bars need to go on so that the tabs are to the outside. Those are the tabs that keep the house from sliding off the bar. Okay, and they're a little tricky getting on. The end screws are the same 20 millimeter bolts, that you used to put the birdhouses together. However, the ones here are, I believe, the next largest, and they needed a washer and a nut. Okay, and strangely, there were two of those size bolts, and they were not all the same diameter. So some of the nuts seemed too small, and I just kept trying different ones. Okay, so these were the smallest 20 millimeters. These were the next size up with a nut and a washer. Then to put, again, these were just the 20 millimeters. They just go into a hole in this bar. Okay. This goes through the bracket. This T is part of the center. Okay, so this T right here is part of the center, and these go through the rails. So you see how each of the flat tabs is towards the outside. The bases also use a nut and a washer, but these need also the longer screws. They are not the 20s, they are the 40s, and they also need a washer and a nut inside. The one in the middle, because it's holding two different panels plus the center frame, takes the longest of all the bolts. And that one there are only two of, and it works just fine. And that was with a washer and a nut for each one. So then the last thing was putting the wheels in the bottom. I will just mention one thing to be cautious of. These legs in the center, these ones outside are really easy to put in, but these two in the center have a plastic anchor in them, kind of like you'd put a plastic anchor in the wall to screw a screw into, and it was very difficult to get the wheel into the anchor. Both of these center wheels are loose because my anchors broke, but I'm really not worried about it because they're not going to go anywhere. They're staying on. But I did encounter a little bit of difficulty getting this into those plastic anchors without those plastic anchors cracking. I was going to try to find another plastic anchor, and I realized it's absolutely fine. The four on the outer corners were easy to get in. You put them in, you snap them. These two in the center, a little more difficult. They have to go into a plastic anchor, and I would recommend very gently tapping on the other side of the wheel. I did it with this upside down, and just going very gently, tapping with something like the handle of a wrench or something. So that's the scoop. We have the whole frame put together, and the next step is to set the birdhouses up on it. And use the little bit of, not sure where to put my hardware, use the little brackets that they give you. There's 3 brackets they give you to hold the two tops together. I'm not sure where the third one goes. And that's what holds the cages together to create the slot for the divider cage to go in. So this cage has 1/2 inch bars, 4/8 inch bars. This space with the divider out is 5/8 inch. So be aware if you have small birds that are really Houdinis, some birds can get out of a 5/8 inch slot. Our lovebirds have had 5/8 inch bars for years now, and they don't go out of them. I will agree with some of the reviews that said this stands a little bit flimsy. we actually have a dog gate that we are going to put all the way around this, a plastic dog gate. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's around our bird's existing birdhouse. So we have this plastic dog gate that can be configured, and we're going to make it into a big U shape to go around the birdhouse here. This is Baird. He's getting a new birdhouse very soon, and then we're going to get ready to find him a mate. He's a peach-faced lovebird that is a little bit of a hybrid, if I understand correctly, from the fellow at Birdiology. Baird is a dimorphous jade, and looking for another peach-faced lovebird, and I did confirm he's definitely a male. So your new house is coming soon, Baird. I'm so happy for you. You're going to get to fly a lot. So that's what we're going to do to protect that we have dogs and we don't want them, you know, going into this. So that's just the only thing I'll say is that I do agree that the stand is kind of flimsy, but if you put it in a safe location and find a way to keep animals and small children away from it, you shouldn't have any trouble. So I'm going to put it all together and I'll let you know what it looks like when it's all done. All right, I've got the stands all put together and I have the double houses on top of it. I do have the divider in currently, and then I used 3 of the little brackets to hold the top together, and then I do want to be able to take mine in and out, so I did not close it off over the front. I did, however, make sure that it doesn't slide out the back. So I chose to place an anchor here, a brace to connect them at the top back, and a brace to connect them at the top front. That was beyond a doubt one of the most difficult parts of the entire job. I had to have my husband come and hold the wrench so that I could go inside through the doors, move the panel. One of us had to hold the Allen wrench on the outside, the other one turned the nut inside. But I did it. It's in. The last stop is to put in the plastic trays for their, you know, the mulch that you use or whatever you put in the base of yours. We use aspen chips. Some people put down newspaper. I've heard people use doggy training pads. We just put aspen mulch. It looks nice, it smells nice. And then on top of that, plastic on the rails. Remember me wondering why this rail needs to go in and thinking it was supposed to be part of what supported the divider door? Nope, it needs to go in because it holds the floor so that your birds are elevated up above their mulch. And with that in there, I just would like to say some people felt the amount of space that was back here might be space that small birds could get out. I don't know that I would worry about that on this one. And that's it. We've got it all put together. I need to get one more of the plastic trays, which is where the aspen chips will go, and the other floor. And Baird has a new home, and I'm quite excited because, for starters, Baird is going to have a new home that gives him free flight, 62 inches of it. Here it is as a double wide flight cage, which is part of what I'm so excited. We wanted our birds to be able to have real flight. And we had set some previous birds free because we felt they just shouldn't be in captivity, but predators are really bad here in Panama. There's hawks and all kinds of other things, so we don't feel that they lived very long. And this is a way that I can feel better. They are truly able to fly. And once they raise a family and the mom wants to be away from the babies, you can put the divider in and say, hey, kiddos, time to go on this side, give mama a break, and dad can still feed you through the bars. So we really do hope to get a mate for Baird soon. And this is the McCage double wide, 62-inch wide flight cage with the divider in the middle, assembled. I will agree with everybody who said it was a project to put together, and came with very inadequate directions. But if you do like I did and you lay out your parts, you study the directions. I put the directions on the large screen TV so I could zoom in on things, study the parts list, read any articles or any videos that you have. So we are quite excited for our lovebirds. We're going to be getting to start with a mate for Baird. So I was able to determine that we have a male. I was able to do the pelvic check, and his pelvic bones are so close together there's not a chance he could be female because there's no room for eggs. They're close together in terms of width, and they're close to his rib cage in terms of height. So we've got a male. We know that for sure. I was already pretty sure just from his behaviors. So tomorrow we will decorate this up and put all the parts in and start Baird out in here and see what he thinks about having 62 inches wide of flight space. And I'm gonna check it out and say, hey Baird, look what you got. You got a lot of room here, buddy. All right, take care. I hope that other people find this helpful. There were no videos out there that I could find on how to assemble this, and I wanted to make it easier for other people. So, and also just to have a record of what I did in case I ever buy more, because this is a really big passion of mine. Happy birding. We love our lovebirds. Very happy to have a genuine flight cage for them now, and a really good mating and breeding cage. Good morning. Super excited because we've got Baird's new double wide 62-inch wide flight cage set up, and does have a divider that goes in the middle to separate it into two 31-inch flight cages, but he doesn't have a mate right now. His mate fled, so we are waiting for more Africana peach-faced lovebirds to come in. This is Baird, Africana commune, a peach-faced lovebird. I understood recently that we had it wrong. They don't need a tall cage, they need a wide cage because lovebirds can only fly horizontally. So he's got different perches and landing spots to encourage him to fly back and forth. Now, once I get him a mate, we'll probably make the side with the nesting box predominantly the side that their nesting materials and everything are on, and we'll have it set up so that once the mama's ready to be done with the babies, we can put the divider in and have the babies on one side and the mom and dad on the other. So this is a big family flight cage. This is our compromise between wanting to rescue lovebirds from pet stores and eventually have them be free, but also understanding that birds that are set free this small end up getting hurt by predators very quickly. So we chose, for now, a nice wide flight cage because we really love having them right here on our porch with us and right outside our living room window. And then later on, we may build a walk-in aviary. But for now, just planning on mating a pair and letting them have a nice big family house. So it's time for Baird to go in. Baird, would you like to go in your new house? Vamos en su casa? I don't exactly know how this is going to work. Come on, let's go in your new house. Do you want to go in there? Go in there. Good boy, good boy, good boy. That's it, he's in. He's in. Hi, Baird. Do you like your new house? Do you like it? Oh my goodness, Baird. Look at all this space you have. Come here, buddy. Here's your food. Come here. You hungry? Come get your food, Baird. Oh, he's so excited. Baird, enjoy your new house, buddy. Your food is down here. Come su comida. Mira, mira, mira. Are you hungry? He said, how can I be hungry? I have all this exciting new space to explore. So, later this week, hopefully, I will have found a mate for him. But we're holding out for a peach-faced lovebird, an Africana commune, or dimorphous jade, any variant of the peach-faced lovebirds, so that he can mate with his own species. He's definitely a male. I've determined that, and we're going to have a fun day exploring his new double flight cage. And it has the divider removed for now because I just want him to have the space. The divider won't go in until there's a family and it's time to separate out children from the adults. All right, I'm going to see if he goes to explore where his food is because he's used to eating at this time in the morning. Well, my buddy has found his food. These are new feeding dishes. I wasn't sure how he'd do with them, but he was a little nervous jumping down onto this grid and walking over to that, but he's really, really, really hungry, so he'll go back to it. But we're happy, Baird's happy. He's gonna have a fun day exploring his new house. It's awesome. 62 inches of flight space. I'm so happy for him. He's gonna be very happy here. Te amo, Baird. I love you, Baird, I love you. I'm so happy you're in your new house. Yes, I'm so happy for you, Baird. Ciao for now.